Hi, welcome to the Rod and Cindy podcast here at Beyond Today. How's everybody doing today? Great, I hope. It's a beautiful, beautiful day today. Today is Father's Day. We're actually recording on Father's Day because it's a beautiful time to record. We are here live at Beyond Today on Father's Day. I love fathers. I am a father. Happy Father's Day, Rod.
Happy Father's Day, Rod, and all you other gentlemen out there.
Absolutely. You know, this is perfect for the Sacred Feminine podcast is because now Father's Day also can be a feminine or a female, right? It doesn't have to be male, right?
Right, definitely. Because we're all parents. We're all parents, and male, female, we all have to play a role, and sometimes dad isn't in the picture, so mom picks up that part of it, so absolutely.
I like that. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. By the way, this beautiful soul that's next to me, she's got these beautiful piercing eyes that look at me on a daily basis sometimes. She's this beautiful, the one and only.
Sacred Feminine Cindy, the goddess.
Sacred Feminine Cindy. So now you're SFG or C. I love it. G or whatever.
I know.
I love that. I love that name.
Yeah, or Sacred Feminine Goddess Cinderella. It could be either one.
Okay.
Isn't that pretty?
That is very pretty.
Or do you just like Sacred Goddess Cindy?
Sacred Goddess Cindy is
a little shorter.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Do I have to start calling you that now? Do I have to come up to you and say Sacred Goddess Cindy?
No, let me get that back to you at that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sacred Goddess Cindy, will you take me out for lunch today? Anyway, so and the sacred goddess that you have next to you to the left of you is who?
Yes, sacred goddess Jeanette St Germane. She's once again back with us. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's blessings I always have you, dear. By the way, the people that can't see her and that, she's this beautiful, beautiful woman. She's got this beautiful red hair and that's these dark eyes and the facial expression that will light up a room. And she's about ready to fry something with all this energy that's coming through.
I think that's probably why she has red hair.
Ooh, fiery red hair. I like that.
You have no idea.
So, and from the past,
she's
now
beautiful.
We've talked about Sophia. Now, so Sophia, does she have red hair?
Sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Because sometimes the goddesses that we see within or the gods that we see within us doesn't always the same color in that. Because Cindy's hair, the goddess that she has with her is more of a dark hair that comes through.
Sometimes it's white, like bright white, and
bright
just light
white.
and flies everywhere. And then sometimes it is more gold red.
That's kind of like my hair in the morning.
Ooh.
Bright white
Next.
and flies everywhere.
Next.
Beautiful. Anyway, so and guess who I have to the right of me?
I'm thinking his name starts with an M, like Mike.
Mike. Remember we had all these different names for him?
Yes.
Let's just go with Magic Mike today with the Magic Mike. Yes.
Hello, Magic Mike.
Magic.
Good morning, wonderful, feminine, sacred Cindy. I get that right?
You did. I'm so impressed. You did fabulous.
I think you forgot goddess.
Thank you.
Goddess.
There's a G in there
Oh yeah, that's right. There's always a G.
G.
Gee whiz.
G.
Can't you get it right,
Golly
Mikey?
geez, Cindy. I love it.
Sacred Goddess Cindy. Happy Father's Day, by the way, Michael.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Happy Father's Day, Cindy, and happy Father's Day, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Very beautiful here. And that did you get your child picked up, or did you leave him at school? Just want to
He's
make sure.
all good.
All good. I'm glad to hear that. So we have to pay a little bills here. That got some podcast bills. If you ever want to just be part of this podcast, or you ever want to come in and host one of these podcasts, well, here's how you do it. All you have to do is call Beyond Today at 602-374-4926, and you can ask for Cindy or Rod. Then we'll set you up. That you can sponsor a podcast as little as $25. Did you know that? As little as $25, you can sponsor one of our podcasts. Then
I think that's fabulous. It's a great rate, and a lot of people are catching wave of these podcasts. They're wonderful. So definitely climb on board.
Absolutely. It's, We are doing so well right now because we're growing on our downloads. And that is, we go for fluctuations. And that sometimes it's 300 downloads a day to 600 downloads a day to 20 downloads a day. It fluctuates so much that you really have no idea. So, but when we start breaking the 600, 700, 800 and going up, we actually had one day of 1,024 downloads.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
it's really wonderful.
Awesome. So let's pay some bills here so that we can keep doing these wonderful podcasts.
Absolutely.
Our very first person that's decided that he wanted to sponsor this today was Bruce Surface. He's an LMT. His company is called Solaris Massage at Beyond Today. He's actually one of the practitioners here, and he's a great man. He does wonderful work in that. And as a massage therapist, what a perfect last name, Surface. He gets right to the surface of things. He's here, and you can give him a call anytime. He's by appointment only. No walk-ins right now, but he is by appointment only at 602-737-6133. That's 602-737-6133. That's Bruce Surface, LMT.
Very nice. We have another practitioner here at Beyond Today. Her name is Cindy James, and her business is Soul Sense Professional Counseling, helping to create balance for professionals. And you can reach her at 602-803-7077. Again, 602-803-7077. She's a wonderful lady, a wonderful counselor, a lot of years of experience. And she's bringing together counseling with energies, and it's just a really great thing that she's offering and pursuing here at Beyond Today. And I, too, am a practitioner here. I do energy work with infused colors. So come and see me as well at that number that Rod had mentioned earlier.
602-374-4926.
Thank you. And we also have our beautiful goddess here, and she'll share where she's at.
Yes, I'm Jeanette St Germane, and I have a center down in Tempe called Radiant Soul Center. And I do intuitive work, energy healing, group events, workshops, all kinds of amazing, beautiful things. You can reach me at 480-648-3335. Again, that number is 480-648-3335.
That is beautiful. Cindy and I, we love to do what we do. We hear all the time. We've been doing some outside work, too. And then we've been going to other places and doing some wonderful work. And if you like Cindy and I come and teach a class or do a meditation or whatever, we'd be more than happy to. And 602-374-4926. 602-374-4926. Also, if you want to ever get a hold of Mike for some of his wonderful, beautiful stuff that he does, he does a lot of different stuff. He's that's why we call him Mystic Mike, Magic Mike, all these different things, names like, because he has a great talent. Yes, he has a certain talents. Anyway, you can call us here at 602-374-4926 if you have any comments or anything else, or leave us that. Talk to Mike on that. Where can you find these podcasts? Well, obviously you found the podcast to listen to this one, so it's the same place every time. Isn't that awesome? It's easy. It's easy enough. If you found this podcast, you know how to find us. Or you can go to beyondthe2day.com. Beyondthe2day.com. That's awesome for all these wonderful podcasts. So we're talking about sacred feminine today. Again, awesome. We've been talking about this for weeks now, and this has been a really great podcast. More and more people want to be part of this.
They sure do. Absolutely. We got a few more lined up. I'm so excited because everybody brings something a little different to the table, but in the end, it's all the collective equals a one, and it's just outstanding.
Right.
Wonderful.
Well, we actually had a young man came in here before we started the podcast, and he was talking about, I want him on the podcast. He's got some amazing stuff that he was talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely. And we're trying to get Mike on the podcast, too, here. We're going to give him a microphone one of these days.
Well, we also offer or put out there kind of what we call, quote-unquote, regular podcasts with people who have different modalities and information they want to share. This particular one that we're doing right now lately is the Sacred Feminine. So some of those may marry in with this and some may not. We can, we just like the variety of the different podcasts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's get into it.
I totally am ready. Jeanette and I have already been chattering about it earlier and sharing what we're going to talk about today. And I'm excited. Once again, you just blow me away. And I'm going to tell everybody out there, get your tissues ready. I have mine. Go ahead, my dear.
Get your tissues ready. I like that. Mike and I were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I need some tissues already. Oh my gosh. So thank you so much for having me back. And I was really excited to come, and all the energies just building into this have been so beautiful this morning. Oh my gosh. So I don't fully know how or what we're going to get into, but I know that Spirit was showing we should step more into that sacred relationship, the balance of the masculine and feminine, and how it's needed for the feminine energy to rise up again in a more full, complete way than ever before. So we like to tie this into the relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, or even, into some of the more cosmic or etheric levels of these beings as they are not in human form anymore. So I'm not sure where you want us to start, but
I know. Well, I believe our last podcast, we kind of touched upon that and the sacred flame and crystals and things like that. So maybe we can just sort of just start with that and just reintroduce that once again, and then go from there. I know we wanted to also talk about the sacred time when Jesus was crucified on the cross. And I know, talking to people lately these days, I'm not kidding, I've been hearing so many people lately say that they are from that era. I've never heard people talk like that before, saying, yeah, I was there, you were there. So many people are starting to step forth and say that they were there at that time frame. Yeah. And so I think we should, also maybe share a little bit about that, and it can, I'm sure lead into the rest of everything that we were talking about.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start in with the crucifixion or something, okay. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it's really interesting that you were saying that a lot of people are tuning into the energy of the crucifixion and the resurrection, and even some of the truth in the teachings that has kind of gotten lost throughout the years. And one of the things that I was seeing around just some of these events that happened in history, it's really interesting because we have these memories stored in our collective DNA, and we have these energies within the spirit, the essence of our life force, so to speak, that we can carry through multiple lifetimes, multiple experiences, whether we were even alive at the specific time as a certain event. All of us will carry some of those memories and feelings and feel drawn to those specific times. And in a lot of the work I do with clients, we'll go into places and look at, past lives and look at Akashic records and look at these different experiences. And if you look at past life regressions and things like that, a lot of people will talk about, oh, I think I was, Joan of Arc or Mary Magdalene or whatever. And you have a lot of people saying that, right? So one of the things that Spirit shows me in the work that I do is we go into this place kind of like a soul library. I don't know how else to describe it besides that. And there's all these books on the walls and big chairs, and anyway, lots of crystal energy everywhere. Everything's glowing. And there's this circular podium type of space that people can step into, and they can access memories and energies and events and people that lived at different times throughout time and space, right? Wow. And I've been finding a lot of people, like you said, are tuning into the energy of the Christ lineage, whether they were there at that time in physical form, or they just feel drawn to the energy and they know Christ in another form, as Yeshua or Sanando or Emmanuel or whatever. They're feeling so drawn to that Christed energy, which is simply an energy, right? Not a man, but an energy. And there are just waves and waves of beings in their incarnated physical bodies now that are like what you're saying. I was there, I felt this, I saw this, I know this. And it's irrelevant whether they were or not. And I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about that, because people get hung up on who they were in a past life or what their experiences were. And you can have 500 people saying they're St. John. Right. It doesn't really matter. It's just the energy that they're tuning into. And I think it is fascinating because when you have this capability, this infinite possibility of souls tuning into a specific energy of love or an event, imagine how the power is amplified, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now tuning into that crucifixion energy, and people that are feeling drawn or feeling moved by that event. And what did it actually symbolize? And what actually happened? What was it all really for, right? Aside from what we've been told in our religious context. And I'm already going to start crying here. I've seen lots of visions of the crucifixion, and also in the cave area where they laid Christ's body after the crucifixion. And some of the visions I've had, I know I was a female energy that I was tuning into. And I do feel I was there, but it could have been, okay, maybe I saw it, maybe I was really there. I don't really know. It doesn't matter, right? I'm connected to this energy. And I was in a female form, and I remember falling down to my knees and just crying and screaming silently. If you can kind of imagine that, just this scream. And it was like the kind of energy that rocks you at your core, of looking up and seeing this magnificent light literally just fading inside of someone. And to have been around the Christ energy and to see it shine so brightly and to see it hold in so many different situations, like the eye of the hurricane, right? I always think of Christ that way. He could just walk through a space and it didn't matter what was going on around him, right? He could just hold his light, hold his energy. And to see that light trying so hard and then just dwindle. There was a moment where it dwindled, and that kind of is seared in my mind a little bit with some of the energies and the visions that I've received around the crucifixion. And if I tune into it enough, I've even felt it where I could smell the smell of metal, the smell of blood, and the smell of vinegar and different herbs and things. Like they had a bucket, and they would, the people, I guess the soldiers, would dip it into this bucket that had vinegar and different herbs in it, like bitters, and they would give it to the people on the crosses as if it was water, and it wasn't. It was something else. And I have this sensation of crusted, white stuff around my mouth, and this just very sensory experience of the physical process of what was happening to this beautiful man. And then to see it at the energetic level too, just memories of watching how the auric field changed or shifted or diminished or got bright in certain times. And this whole process, over the 3-day period, there was this process that he underwent. And I hope I'm not getting off on a tangent, but
no, keep going.
It's very strong.
Yes.
And I remember there was one time when I had these visions. I was a young kid. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I was having these come to me in a dream format. And I remember in the dream, I was seeing myself kind of on the ground, and I was digging my hands into the dirt, and my nails were getting dirty and kind of bloody from just digging. And when I woke up, my hands were like this, and I had bloody marks across my palms from my fingernails. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding, the dream was so vivid and so real, and I was so there, and then when I woke up in this lifetime, I had those marks on my hands from my fingernails, and it's oh my gosh. So I'm not sharing any of this to be a downer, but just to share the intensity of the physical experience. And when we talk about crucifixion, and there's something about this where the energy of the crucifixion gets almost like a ripple effect, where people get that energy locked into them if they tune into the crucifixion. Have you ever known people that just have to carry a cross everywhere they go?
Yes.
Right? This energy of martyrdom or victimization. Not that was what Christ was holding, but there was a ripple effect of that, I think, that ties back to a crucifixion energy. And this feeling of so many people that loved him and treasured what he was offering the world, and then it seemed to have been taken from them in a way that they weren't expecting, even though they had been told to a certain extent. They didn't really believe it could happen. So I think it's important to talk about that a little bit. But what does that crucifixion mean, and how is it still affecting us? And the way the church, different churches, have used it as a guilt type of thing instead of a love kind of thing. And Christ went through that experience embodying love, not victimization, and not wanting people to revere him as some kind of martyr, but to just find their way back to love, to see such extreme contrast in what love was not, to be able to find it within themselves again. Sometimes we have to know what we have so we realize what we don't have, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Oh, that was powerful.
Yeah.
And so, wow, with all that being said, he also, while going through this moment, these days, these hours, this sacrificing, he also had his lady there too, Mary Magdalene. And I'm sure, obviously, they had this huge connection, of course, we all know. And I have a feeling that she was his strength, though, during this time, too.
Yeah, it's interesting, some of the information I've received just through spirit and my own, again, strange visions and meditations. Like Rod had mentioned in the last podcast, he had asked her not to come. He didn't want her to see him that way. And when he was talking last time, and in my own kind of experience, I've seen that she did indeed show up, and she couldn't stay away. I see her actually kind of hiding behind other people so that he wouldn't know she was there.
Right.
Because she was afraid that he would lose his strength if he knew she was there. Because he told her he didn't know if he could go through with it. If he looked out into the crowd and saw her there, he didn't know if he could leave her.
Right.
And that was some of the energy that I feel as an interplay between the hearts. But I do have visions of her standing there and seeing him and actually trying to push energy at him to help sustain him. And he would not receive it. And his task was to go through the process of overcoming death. And he met with Mary before the crucifixion, and they were together and sharing their energies, and that energy was able to bolster him enough to have the energy to do what he needed to do. But during the actual process, their connection as twin flames and basically being counterparts to each other, being of the same soul cloth, they feel each other. They feel everything that the other feels. And you can't have one without the other walking the same path, even in two separate bodies. So everything that he was experiencing, she was experiencing. And everything, he was vice versa.
Yeah.
Can I just add something to this? Not add to it, but isn't that kind of what we're seeing nowadays also with couples, in a sense, is that there's this magnitude of the sharing. That things are changing to the point of you can't have one without the other anymore. It used to be everybody be very independent in where they're at, and now it's changed a lot. And because men are changing themselves and how they see things. Then it's really interesting. We were talking to some friends the other day, and a very strong doctor. He's intelligent and everything else, and that, but he has agoraphobia sometimes, and he has agoraphobia without her. She is his strength. And and that's in playing on words, playing on things that too. And that's like Cindy's the same thing. It's like, I don't want to go places without Cindy. It's like, oh, I'll wait for you. I'll do this, that. And that's changed. That was not my father. Happy Father's Day. That was not my father. My father was not that type. He was very independent in what he did and he led the family. This is where we're going to go. This is going to hurry up, woman. Let's get in the car, type thing. But I'm seeing so much changes of the men nowadays. Like, I'll wait for you, honey. I'll be in the car, or I'll get you. Let me carry your bag. Let me get something for you. And that things have changed.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Cindy and I were talking about that before the podcast.
I didn't hear you.
And I know that's why it's so fascinating that he just tuned right into it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you. They were holding that template of what love really is and what it should be in balance, and where the masculine is stronger with the feminine and the feminine is stronger with the masculine. And now we are moving into that place where you can't have one without the other. It's like they are both, it's the yin and the yang. It's the two sides of the coin, right? It's two parts of the same whole. And one of the, I don't know if it's Rumi or, I can't remember, but anyway, probably Rumi. But there's a quote that talks about how we are more together than we could ever be as individuals. And that's really what we're stepping into as a society as we come into a relationship with each other and with ourselves. And the relationships that aren't holding that energy are getting really hard to stay in, because people are waking up to the truth of what love is and what they know it can be. And it's fascinating to watch. And it all goes back to these energies that people like Christ and Mary Magdalene were holding and bringing to the earth so that we could all experience it at some point when we're ready. And yes.
Go ahead, honey.
Oh, okay. Well, what I want to say with that too is something that I feel like I keep seeing or hearing is because their connection was so tight, they were really basically just one, because their love for each other was just immaculate. What I feel that we're feeling nowadays is, like I had mentioned earlier, about people are saying, yeah, we were there at that time of the crucifixion or Jesus's time. What I want to say with that is because people are more aware of Christ and believe in him and worship him, etc., more than obviously Mary Magdalene, because she was thrown to the ground and squashed, as I always say, which is a huge mistake. But I think this energy that's coming in, we think it's actually Christ's energy because we're more aware of it, but it's her coming through with his name, if you will. Does that make sense? I'm trying to deliver this how I hear it in my head. It's just like, okay, we know who Jesus is, but it's actually not him because they're so one. It's actually her. This feminine energies that are out there right now is actually her and her feminine energies, even though it still equals the balance of the two, but it's stronger on her end, because we need to bring this balance into this world right now to find that peace that we're all searching for. Yeah. Did I make sense? Did that
absolutely.
Okay, good.
I'm in the same boat as you. It's like who's Christ? Christ consciousness, Christ energy, Christ what everything else. That it doesn't put a male female figure to it. Right. It's Christ energy. It's Christ consciousness, and it is. And I don't think it's just the male. I think it's the yin and the yang, the energy that you said. It's both the energy that's coming through in that, and that's. Ellis Bailey talks about the Christ consciousness coming from a higher source and the celestial beings and everything else coming down here, and that's the idea right there, is that the Christ consciousness is of man and woman. It's yin and yang. It's pure love. Yes. It's the understanding that some people in this is interesting. How I'm starting to see some of this is seeing crystals within people, and then people's crystals have been split, and one has been given to one person and another person. I'm not saying it's just man and woman, because I've actually seen the crystals in two women, and it's a beautiful thing. And when they start finding each other and matching each other, and they hold each other's crystals, and that's Christ consciousness right there. That's because what did Jesus and Mary spread?
Love.
Exactly. So the Word of God is love. And
it's so funny because all of that goes back to Sophia as well, and how the goddess energy creates the masculine energy, and then the masculine and the feminine together create this Christ consciousness energy, which flows out into all.
Mm-hmm.
And in the way that I'm seeing it, at least for me in the work with Sophia, is that we have to find the Christ consciousness within ourselves first, balance our masculine and feminine energies within our own hearts first, and then once we have done that to a certain degree, then we're able to magnetize to us others that have also done the same, or those that are holding the other part to our crystal, that more of that twin energy that Christ and the Magdalene held for each other. So it's so fascinating that this feminine energy, in order for it to rise up into its full power, the way that it was when it was held in that safe, sacred place that Christ held, right? Christ held the energy for the feminine to flow and to just be and to grow. And then when, as you said, it was squashed down, we've just been searching for that safe place ever since, right? As the feminine. And we've even lost sight of the masculine and feminine balance within ourselves as individuals. So now everybody's waking up. Well, some people are waking up to this idea of, oh my gosh, I'm more than just this human zombie walking around that has to do A, B, C, and then die, right? We are more. And that more is that we're finding our divinity, and our divinity is expressed through Christ consciousness. It's expressed through unified love fields. And we have to have that within ourselves and with each other. That's the only way that we can create that place of heaven on earth,
There you go.
which is the goal, at least for me. I can't speak for anyone else, but
I think you do.
yeah.
You speak for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's beautiful, dear. So, Alice Bailey's idea is that we bring Palladians and Syrians into this, into play in that, then the Great Bear, and making a Trinity, and that to create Christ consciousness. That is that how you see it, also in a sense too. Is there a play on that too?
Yeah,
with
I
that?
see a Trinity energy for sure everywhere. You can look at it at lots of different layers. Sophia has shown me it, like, at the human level with Christ and the Magdalene, and then the energy between them, that Holy Spirit energy. The union energy is that third energy that's created. It's the God energy. And when the God energy is created, it takes you to the goddess energy, the source of all, and then it flows through all. So that becomes the Christ energy flowing within the divine. And then you also have multiple aspects of the Trinity. So you can have it at a cosmic level with the Pleiadians and the Syrians and the Arcturians and the Andromedans and whatever you believe and pull in. When I do the meditations every week at the center with our group, we go through multiple dimensions, and sometimes we're bringing in Venus energy, and we're bringing in an energy that's kind of he shows himself to me as like a 12th dimensional being, but it's a cosmic being. And what's the name? Sanat Kumari. And that energy comes in with a lot of Venus energy and creates this triad with the cosmic heart of this universe. And then that creates this beautiful Christ energy. But at a cosmic level, like at a star level, planetary level, that's similar but removed a bit from our earth plane, but still connected in its own way. And then you have the celestial levels, where you have the angelics, and you have some of these ascended master energies and the different forms that they take. And then you have the divine levels, which is the Sophia and the Logos and the Christ energy that's created there. So there's all these different levels, which are just fascinating. But through all of it, that Christed energy comes from the divine and the union of the divine love. If you have love, you have God, goddess, source, everything. And so those of us here on the planet that are holding these twin flame frequencies, that's our role, is to hold these energies of source everywhere we go within ourselves. And then, hopefully the plan is to come into union with as many others that hold those same crystal templates, so that we can expand more and more circles of unified love.
Absolutely.
Sacred love, right?
Sacred love, yes.
There's a little bit of a difference, right? There's
Yes,
different levels of love, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely that's a sacred level of love.
And interestingly too, and I don't mean to say it like a stair step, because it's really not. Like we talked before, it's the spiral going out, but it helps us with our minds to think a little more linear. But we also, Spirit was showing, we have that individual soul evolution, right? And then we have the soul evolution of that love energy, of connecting with others. We have the oneness, moving into oneness, right? The individual into oneness. And then we have the unity, moving into oneness. And those paths are not separate, right? They intertwine and they go along their path in so many different ways. And sometimes we come together in unified fields, and sometimes we go apart to work on our individual selves for a while, and then we come back together. And so that's what I'm seeing happening for lots and lots of people with their soul connections.
Nice.
It's kind of like a Yahtzee game in that almost. So everything's getting shook up and put around there. So the shake up, where's it leading us to?
So for me, I always talk about anchoring heaven on earth. Well, what does that really mean? What does that really look like? And it's so interesting because the first time I experienced an energy of heaven that I can remember was in a love relationship with a counterpart that was my match. And I remember feeling bliss and euphoria and looking at this other person and literally seeing galaxies and the cosmos and the heart of creation all through this. And he was seeing the same in me. And we didn't know what it was. We didn't have the words at the time. Now I know. But hindsight, right? I remember that feeling so succinctly because it was like those feelings I had when I had visions of Christ or the Magdalene or the crucifixion or even the resurrection. It was that energy, but it was amplified exponentially. It was so much more than anything I could feel just within my own heart, which I didn't even know was possible. I'm quite a feeler, right? How can there be more than what I can already feel inside me? And when I was able to come together with that other person in a physical form, it was like God within God within God within God, sun within sun within sun. So it was just exponential. Wow. So I think that's where we're headed, to be able to be in a place in a physical form where we literally see the God within each other and we revere it. Whether we're in a sacred union with them romantically or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it was that doorway to holding God here.
Namaste.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the God in me sees the God in you.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. This is where we're headed for. This is what we see, and this is what we do. So with all your great insights and everything else, then when you look at Cindy and I, what do you see?
I knew this was coming.
I knew you knew this was coming. I knew that you knew that I knew that it was coming.
I didn't know it was coming.
Okay, so, I mean, do I have permission to actually look at your fields?
Oh, absolutely.
Cindy,
Are
you have to get
kidding
permission.
me?
She's a little bit.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong? Say yes.
Sure.
If you don't want me to, I won't. That's
Okay.
fine.
Say yes, Cindy.
He's so excited. Okay, sorry.
The look I got.
Yeah. We had a conversation last night, remember?
Yes, I know.
Okay. No, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
just kidding. Go
I
ahead.
don't, because I don't look unless I'm asked.
Of
That's
course.
one of
I
my
respect that. Thank you.
requirements. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to tune in more than already. Whew. Okay. So, I cannot tell you anything that you don't already know.
Absolutely.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys have a very, very beautiful, profound connection. And you know this.
Absolutely.
And as far as being the exact match, the crystal or that twin flame energy, when I first met you, that was my first question in my head, is if you were a twin energy. And I'm like, I'm not looking, I'm not asking. And I ran away from it because that's what I tend to do, unless I'm asked. But I do see that energy around both of you. So I don't know if that validates anything for you. Not that you would need that, but I do see that energy around you. And it is very beautiful to witness. And I know from experience the highs and lows and everything in between of that connection. Multiple times I've had it this lifetime. So the one thing I would say to you both, whether you are walking an individual path moment or a unity path moment, hold it sacred. The love is sacred.
Absolutely.
And how you express it in this world is of utmost importance. And whenever people come to me and say, you know, what's my purpose? What's my mission here? Why am I on this planet? I feel like an alien walking around. Yes, I understand. The mission is always love. And how you express it, that's up to you. But it's always love. And if you have a twin flame mission, it's even more so. Because it's not just being love and holding love in your individual self. It's learning how to navigate a unity field in two separate bodies. And that is very complex and confusing.
I can contest to that.
I concur.
Yes.
So there is, you have a beautiful example of how to hold that love. You tune into the Christ energies and the Magdalene energies, and it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right? So whenever you have questions or challenges or resistance around certain things, just tune back into the center, that center energy, and it will guide you. Love is the compass, right? And, but yeah, keep it sacred, keep it safe.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're right on with that. That's how I see it too. It's very sacred, and I have to keep it safe. I really have to. Cindy's a strong warrior, okay, but I'm a protector of her, and it's not just of her physical body because she can take care of herself. It's what's inside of her. I always call it the chewy nougat inside her, because there's people out there that want that, and there's things that they do that isn't nice to try to open them up to take what they want, and it's to leave the body whole, but to take the spirit out.
Yes.
And so keeping it sacred, keeping it safe and everything else in that, because she carries such a huge amount of love within her. And it's very important that we have that sacredness and we take care of it and everything. The reason I asked you about this is because we are spreading love, and that's what we want to do. We want to be the epitome of love, and our hearts are about love. And so, when I asked you what Jesus and Mary's purpose was, it's about love, spreading love. This is what every one of us, why we're getting together, is to spread love. And I don't think it's going to be the hippie movement again, where we're going to be sticking flowers all over the place. And that it's actually
the real deal.
The real deal.
The real truth.
And it's funny is that Cindy and I have been told so many times, you guys are the real deal. And when we're told we're the real deal, it's like, what does the real deal mean? And the real deal is that we're actually walk the walk, talk the talk of the love. Just like you. You're the real deal. You have a huge heart, honey, and the same thing. What I see in you is that this bright, beautiful, shiny thing I told you earlier. That smile.
Sparkly shiny.
Yes, sparkly shiny.
Yeah.
That emblem that shines inside of you is huge.
Thank you.
And you're such a beautiful soul, honey.
Thank you.
Share the
Yes,
love,
you
spread
are.
the love.
Takes one to know one, right?
Absolutely.
Touche.
Like energy attracts like energy.
Right.
Absolutely.
Amen.
I don't know how Mike got here, but
Mike, you're beautiful, sparkly, shiny too.
isn't he? Isn't he? I just love that. He is. He's that innocent, sparkle, shiny. That, he is. Not in the physical sense, innocent. He's spiritually innocent.
This is a whole other story.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, there
There
you
you
go.
go.
Absolutely. I love this, dear. I love the idea that the Christ consciousness and is we came to that the conclusion that it's what we are, or who we are, and it's male and female that's in each and every one of us. That if somebody came to you and asked you what they could do to help with this, what would you suggest they could do?
Love themselves. One of the first things I tell my clients is, if you're feeling disconnected or lost or like there's something missing from your life, I always counsel them to step into self-care, self-love. And not in a way that's narcissistic or selfish, but in a way that's just love, because love is pure. Love doesn't have any expectations, rules, or boundaries when you just allow it to be love, right? Oh, well, I only love this person because they're my brother or my sister, right? Or, oh, I love this person because I married them and I have to love them and vow to be with them forever. That's not love. That's this 3D paradigm of expectation and rules and limitation.
Rules, limitations. Oh my gosh!
Where's the love in that?
I have to jump in on that because I mean, there's things about that. The rules and limitations that you're limiting yourself to so much.
Yeah.
It's a thing on. It's also the thing. It's like when people say "I love you, my friend." They make sure that they are saying "my friend" or "my brother" because they don't want you to get the wrong opinion when they say "I love you." All right, because it's like, oh my God, I love you. You do, but you're my friend. Stop that.
Yeah.
Drop that. My friend, my brother,
Exactly.
my sister. Drop it.
Yes.
It's just pure love, and that's all it is.
Yes.
No regulations. No ways of mechanically saying this is how you hug. You have to hug this way, or you hug this way, and that. It's just whatever you feel. Do
Yeah.
it. Give them a big hug. Cindy's a long hugger, okay? And we always talk about her having to, some people always want to tap out. They don't know how to stop hugging, with Cindy because she's so beautiful, and everybody just loves to hug her. But the thing is that there's no rules to that. There's no rules how long you should hug. There's no rules how long, how to say that you love somebody and that. You're not leading anybody on by telling them you love them. If you really, truly do, if it's in your heart and how you feel in that, you're not leading everybody on. Just say, I love you. I love you, Jeanette.
I love you too.
Yes, thank you, honey.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you, Mike.
Oh, I love you, big boy.
Big boy, see? He added that.
He added it.
Hey, I got to maximize my 5 seconds of fame.
He couldn't leave it alone. He had to add the big boy. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Stop adding the friend, the brother, the sister, and everything else. Exactly.
I walked right into that. Didn't
Yes, you did. Say I love you, and I love you only.
I?
That's
love
it.
you only.
There you You just can't do it.
Oh.
You can't do it.
Well, it's
That's
so
it.
fascinating because that's even part of what the Magdalene and Christ were doing, and that's what we're doing as the twin energy. We're here to break those societal rules and paradigms because that's not what love is, right? So he was with someone that history portrayed as a woman of the night, and that is considered not okay, right? In the way it's been portrayed. And, but again, they loved anyway, and they were breaking that structure of what was right or wrong in their time and what's right or wrong in our time. And that's what we're here to do. Break the rules.
So, but I mean,
There are no rules.
exactly. There's no rules whatsoever.
Just
And
love. Don't hurt other people because
exactly
the rule is
That's-
love.
The rule
obviously.
is love. So there's no exactly. In this day and age, when everybody's offended by everything, okay, it's just pure love. That's all it is. That's all we need. Just I love you. I love this. I love this. I love this. This is beautiful. This is
But
great.
why are people threatened by it? That's the question.
Because we were told that you can only say love to a person that you really are with. I
Why?
can only tell Cindy I love you. I can't tell anybody else I love you. That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
The thing was that I'd grab my little kitty and his name was Dusty and I'd look in his face and I'd say, I love you, Dusty. My mom says, no, you don't. It's just an animal.
Oh.
Then I'd go outside and play with the farm animals. And then I love you, and I had names for them and everything else. That nope, we don't name the animals. We don't the farm animals. You don't name them. You don't love them. I love everything. No, you don't.
My 5-year-old says that all the time. Mommy, I love everything. And I say, I love everything too. Don't ever lose that.
There you
Absolutely. And that's exactly right, is because we were told not to love everything. A lot of us were,
Yeah,
in many ways. You know what? I really hate to do this, but you know what time it is?
I know.
I know. Is that sad?
It really has
We're-
been an hour.
Just getting into it again.
I know.
No, I think we need to do a little less of the beginning chit chat.
We have to pay bills, Cindy, unless you're going to front
Some
all
of it
this.
was just chit chat.
We're chit-chatting now.
I know.
It's all about the chit-chat.
Yeah.
I love you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow. That was good. Anyway, so Jeanette, it's always a pleasure to have you here. It's what a blessing to have you here, and that we love having you here. How's that?
Thank you. I love it. I'm having so much fun. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to just share and be in this space and sharing things that need to be shared. Thank you.
Much agreed indeed. And yeah, we'll have you back again. And
Yay.
maybe a little less chit chat so we have more of the good chit chat, the good talks.
What was the bad chit-chat? I don't know
I
what
didn't
the
say it was bad. I said it was long.
You two are so funny.
I love her.
I love all of you guys here. Thank you. And all of you out there, I love you. Thank
oh, my
you.
gosh, you're so funny, honey. I love you. There. I said, oh, really? I get a nod now. She's angry
I already
at me.
said I loved
It's
you
that-
and
that-
everybody else.
The angry love.
No.
That can be fun.
Yes. Oh, it is. I enjoy that. I love pushing the buttons, too, with angry love. So anyway, awesome. Again, how can they reach you, honey, if they want to ever get a hold of you?
My website is JeanetteStGermane.com, and my phone number is 480-648-3335. Again, the number is 480-648-3335.
And Cindy, how can they get a hold of you?
Right here at Beyond Today.
With the phone number of 602-374-4926.
Mm-hmm.
That number again, 602-374-4926.
Come get your color on with some energy.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So before we say goodbye to Mike and everything else, that I saw something while we're doing this podcast, and I just thought I want to share it at the end here. That I saw this Jeanette St Germane show. I really did. I saw that.
I'm game.
I'm game too, honey. We'll help you do whatever we can with that, because I really saw that. That was really fascinating to see that. So, by the way, because of you, we're going to be having a social media class. And Mike and I were just talking about that. We're going to talk about some paid ads for Facebook. How do you do a lot of this stuff? The first class is a 2-hour class, and I'm actually bringing in an expert that does social media. And he's an amazing person. That we decided that we're doing this for donation only. How beautiful is that going to be? We're going to fill this place up.
Oh my gosh,
with
I'm
that.
so excited.
Exactly.
I will be here.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun, because we're going to teach you a lot of stuff, little secrets about what we do to be in the social media highlight and everything else. And be social media celebrities. Woo-hoo.
Awesome. Woo!
The Jeanette St Germane show. I love
Yes.
that. I saw that. I really saw that. I even actually saw it was like the 80s. The 80s.
In lights.
In lights. Exactly.
My name in lights.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was like the Johnny Carson show, there's blinking lights around it, but it was but it was really cool in that. And I saw something for you too, Cindy.
What was that?
Nothing.
I saw nothing.
I'm just
Dead air.
kidding.
Aw.
Oh, I have to pick on
Well,
her.
you have seen that galaxy within me. I just
Oh,
wanted
absolutely.
to reflect on that for a second that
Yes.
Jeanette was talking about earlier.
Yep. That look into her eyes, and I can see a whole nother galaxy inside.
Do you see a white flame?
Inside her?
Like in her eyes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a flickering
It
light
trips
flame.
me out sometimes
It
when
does.
I see it.
Yep. It's kind of like.
I'm like,
puts-
whoa.
Exactly what I just did too. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Ooh, what the heck
I'm
is
like,
that?
oh yeah, you're a twin. Hello.
Yep, absolutely. So Mike is here. Anytime you guys need to get a hold of me, call it Beyond Today, and we'll get you a hold of Mike. And that Mike also on the sideline sells insurance. So if you any of your insurance needs, that you can call Mike for any insurance needs: house, boat, car, Health? No, it's just health insurance, isn't it? I don't know what it is. I have no idea what my friend sells. Anyway, it's always a blessing to have you here. That we have some great classes coming up. Check it out. The Jeanette St Germane show. I can't wait for that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Loves to everybody. Good night, dear. Good night. Good night, honey.
Good night,
Good night.
sweetie.
Good night, Mike.
Good night, Mike. And
Good night.
Good night.
once
night.
again, I'm honored, Jeanette. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just a pleasure to talk to you about these things and this. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I love
sweetie.
it. Have a
Night.
good night.
Love
night.
y'all. Sweet
Night.
dreams.
Love, love, love.